Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. All right. So this is chapter six. Chapter six actually is macroeconomic problems, and for macroeconomic problems, they are covered for unemployment and inflation, but I focus for unemployment only. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is several of point that I should cover. Right, definitions, types of unemployment, effects of unemployment, and this is the parts the important thing, measurement or measures to control the unemployment. Okay, so actually, what is unemployment? Okay, unemployment actually exists, all right, when there are people who are willing, and they are able to work, but they are unable to find suitable jobs at the certain levels of the wage rates. Okay, or we can say that unemployment is a situations where the labor force participants are available to willing to work, but they are unable to find a job, right? Or we can say that unemployment is a situation in the economy where there are people between the age 16 and 65 who are working but are actively seeking for jobs. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that is unemployment rate. Okay, the formula of how to calculate the unemployment rate. So, for sure, unemployment rate is in percentage. Okay, you have to find the number of unemployed and you divide by labor force and you have to times with 100%. Okay, how we define the labor force? Okay, so this labor force we can categorize the population into the three different subgroups. Okay, the first one is less than 16 years, second 16 to 65 years old, and third more than 65 years old. And everybody the age between 15 to 65 years old is considered as the total labor force. All right, so this is relation between population, labor force, and unemployment. So population we can divide by 3, so below 16 years, 16 to 65, 16 6 years above. So these of 3 is population. But 60 to 65 years, okay, it's a labor force and outside labor force, right? So labor force is employed and unemployed. Okay, all right, labor force is all person above the age of 16 and older who are employed, or we can say that is actively seeking for employment. And this labor force consists of, we can see that it's employed and unemployed person. So this is another one question. Is everyone above 16 years old or age included in the labor force? The answer is no, because the students, housewife, pensioners, and discouraged workers are considered as outside at the labor force. All right. So what is a discouraged worker? Okay, discouraged workers is of course is the individual who want to work but actually who has been unsuccessful for a long periods of time in finding a job and who has consequently give up on seeking for a job. So discouraged worker, they are would like to work, but they are make sure that their job prospect are very good. Okay, and since the labor force is defined as a people who are above 16 years of age but who are actively seeking for employment, discouraged workers are excluded from the labor force. So this is very important. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so this is types of unemployment. Okay, so we have frictional unemployment. So what is a frictional unemployment? Frictional is a temporary unemployment. Okay, example, the very simple example is a graduate. Okay, the graduate, okay, they are searching for a job and finally they quit from the job and they can looking for a new job included in the frictional unemployment. Okay, next is the structural unemployment. Structural mean This unemployment occur when there is a change in the structures of the economy. The structures of the economy change, so finally they will occur these types of unemployment. So therefore the skills of worker are not longer suitable with the jobs available. Why? Because they are not meet with their skills and also their talent. For example, in the agriculture sectors, many unskilled and uneducated workers are laid off because of modern machinizations. Okay, next is the classical unemployment. So this unemployment is caused by the decrease in the aggregate demand, okay, due to a change in the business cycle. So when this economy is under recession, okay, so this demand for product or we can say that goods and services is decreased, and therefore finally demand for these workers also decrease. So many people become unemployed because of this economic condition, economic recession. Okay, what about seasonal unemployment? Seasonal unemployment occur when a certain product cannot be produced during a certain season. Okay, all right. Example, during monsoon season, fishermen, rubber tapers, and farmers, actually they will be temporarily unemployed. Okay, all right. So this is effects if this unemployment happen in our country. So the first one, the output or the Q is less than the potential output. When the higher unemployment rate, okay, of course, this output produced by the country cannot achieve the maximum level or potentials of output. All right, and next is the loss in government revenue. Unemployment, they cause loss in government revenue because government obtain their revenue from taxes. So thus taxes on the personal. Once you are work, so you have to pay for the government the income tax. So this means that the taxes on the personal individual will reduce because many people are joined the rank of unemployment workers. Social problems. Okay, so this is normal. In terms of individual and society, unemployment can cause a lot of social problem to the society. Why? Because unemployed people, they will involve in the illegal activities. I don't see that this is normal, but mostly, all right, they are taking a drugs and others, and finally they try to overcome their stress and they try to cope with the financial problems. Okay, next is the loss of job skills. Unemployed workers, many may lose their job skills through the lack of applications. Okay, retraining and educating them may prove expensive. All right, so this is a very crucial part, which is how to measure or how to control this unemployment. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have several way or several tools that the government can use. The first one is a monetary policy, fiscal policy, and direct control. All right, so this is a measurement to control unemployment. So the first one is a monetary policy. In the monetary policy, we have several tools. Example, first one is an open market operation, or you can call it a OMO. So what happened in OMO? The central bank, or in our country, we see that Bank Negara, they will buy short-term bonds, or we can say it's a government securities, and treasury bills from the individual as well as institutions. Okay, so the purchase of government security, they can increase the money supply and finally increase the purchasing power of individuals and firms. So that is our objective. Okay, second is lowering the reserve requirement. Okay, what is a reserve requirement? Reserve requirement is a portion. Okay, it's a portion that all the commercial bank in Malaysia, this is the situation in Malaysia, so they have to put in the Bank Negara. Okay, they have to keep in the Bank Negara, and finally, it could be less. Okay, to offer the loan to the consumer. All right, so when the reserve requirement is decreased, so the credit creation process may increase as well as the money supply. And finally, aggregate spending may increase and relate to increasing the employment. All right. The other ways is we can reduce the interest rate. Okay, so our Bank Negara, they can persuade the commercial bank. Example, RHB, Maybank, CIMB, and so on. They can persuade this bank to decrease their rates of interest rate. In terms of this action from commercial bank, they will reduce the levels of saving and increase the public spending. Okay, with the increasing in the purchase of goods and services. So consumer is refused to save more when the interest rate on saving is low. Okay, all right. Next is a lowering the discount rate. Okay, discount rate is also known as a bank rate. Right, so a decline in discount rates or bank rate may encourage people to borrow the money for their spending. So a decline in discount rates lead to an increasing in the borrowing and thus will increase in people's spending. All right, next is a fiscal policy. Okay, we only have two tools in the fiscal policy, which is taxes and also the government spending. So to measure or to control the unemployment, so what the government have to do is they are try to decrease the taxes. Okay, the taxes, so the general burden of taxes on the community, and when they are reduced the tax, so what happened, the consumption or the expenses of the people will increase. All right, next, increase in the government expenditure. Okay, this increasing in the government expenditure will directly affect the aggregate demand. For example, an increase in the salaries of the government servant create more development project, which is can reduce unemployment. Okay, direct control policy, it means that the government can influence the economy or the price, uh, they can influence it. So, for unemployment, we can providing training and technical education, more training, okay, and education, and finally provided individual who have difficult to securing or to find a job. So we upgrade her skill and increase their knowledge, and finally, they will be able to find the job easily. Okay, developments of new land. Okay, we focus on the rural area and we collaborate with the developments of new land by a government agency such as FILDA, RISTA, and FILGRA. Migrations of labor. Okay, shift or migrate the labor to the needed areas, especially for those affected by the structure unemployment. And then we can create job in various sectors. Example, transportation, finance, insurance, service, tourism, manufacturing, construction, and others. We create more jobs. All right, that's all. Thank you very much, and I hope that you can learn a lot, okay, about the unemployment. All right, so maybe we can see you next week to continue the next topic, which is inflation. Thank you very much, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.